Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your December 2018 general readings. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Welcome to any and all newcomers. Thank you for all your feedback, support, and comments, your likes, shares, and subscribes. Thank you to all of my clients out there, both regular and new. You guys keep me so busy with personal one-on-one readings. It's an honor. It's a pleasure. Thank you. If any of you are interested in a personal private one-on-one reading with me, you can get more information and contact details by either going to my YouTube channel's homepage and clicking on the little About button there, or you can click onto the description bar of any of the videos I post. Please feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to work with you. Turnaround time is pretty good too, because I do readings full-time 5 to 6 days a week. It is what I do. But of course, during the holiday season, the sooner booked, the better. I do a wide variety of readings in all areas of life of all different types and lengths. So if you're interested, send me an email. We'll go from there. You can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy, and that link is also provided. That's a good app for quick answers to fast, easy questions. For the more in-depth issues or complicated, complex situations, traditional readings are probably a better choice. But that's another option for you to look at. So send me an email. We'll take it from there if you're interested. So let's move right into this. This reading is for the fire sign of Leo, our lovely lions, Leo. Let's see what December 2018 has in store for you. Check your rising and your moon sign videos as well for additional clarification, because as you know, general readings can always resonate a little differently for everybody watching. Okay, Leo, let's see what December 2018 has in store for you. We have the Ten of Wands, followed by the King of Wands. We have the Hanging Man, followed by the Queen of Cups. We have the Page of Wands, followed by Death. And we have the Hierophant, followed by the Knight of Cups. And from the bottom of the deck, the overall guidance and energy is the Six of Swords. Okay. I was just sorting through. I just got a flash message for, I think, a very specific situation that may only resonate with a few of you. In the midst of something of like the more general things that I'm getting. The challenge when you channel psychically, intuitively, is receiving what you get and translating that into cohesive statements. Okay, so healing and moving away from a difficult time into a more stable, peaceful, harmonious time is your overall energy for December. That's your crowning card from the bottom of the deck, the Six of Swords, a card of healing, particularly your mental and emotional healing. I mean, we're holistic beings, so when I talk about healing, it's all together. Some of you, it may be healing physically as well after an illness, maybe a surgery or something. Swords is air energy, and that speaks of its mental, cerebral energy about how we think and what we believe and our perceptions and perspectives, because that affects how we communicate our words and our ideas to the world and people in the world. That's the energy of, that's the air energy of the Suit of Swords in the tarot. The Six of Swords is a card about moving into a better time, a healing time. If you could see the water behind the boat, it would be very choppy and wavy and turbulent. But as you can see, she or he is moving into waters that are calm, peaceful, placid, serene. With the healing process, especially the initial healing process, there's good days and bad days, but healing process means overall you're moving forward into a much better place. It's transitional, meaning you've left the worst behind you. You haven't yet reached the other shore and are on solid ground yet, but you're definitely moving towards that. So definitely a healing energy for the month of December. Because a burden, a long-held burden is coming to an end, has come to an end, is coming to an end. I am recording these at the end of November for December. So, time always, I pull 2 cards for each week, but time is always a little fluid. So we begin with the Ten of Wands followed by the King of Wands. So the Ten of Wands, as you can see, is a burden, a heavy burden, one that you've been carrying probably for quite some time, and it's coming to a close. This is the cycle ending because that's what tens represent: completion, a cycle coming to an end, needing to come to an end. And this one is particularly heavy. It can feel very, overwhelming, exhausting, overwhelmed. And you're coming to the place where you can lay this burden down, stand up, and take a deep breath. His head is up and he's looking at the end here. So there's definitely a cycle ending. And to clarify that, we have the King of Wands, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius energy, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Some of you, this could be you. A lot of you, it is you. We're talking about Leo, the fire sign. But I also feel for a lot of you, you may be that this is a relationship. It could be work, career, and finance as well too. I feel like this is going to, a lot of the energy for the signs I've done so far have been more relationship focused, or the energy is more on relationships, whether that's romantic or friendship or family relationships, or even relationships with people at work. But it's about how we're relating with people. But I feel like for a lot of you, this is a situation that's coming to an end. A cycle is coming to an end. It has to do with another fire sign or somebody who's showing up as the King of Wands, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius energy. And whether this ending, whether what is ending is the relationship itself or a cycle within the relationship itself, you're moving forward. I feel like for a lot of you, there's a pretty high potential for a cycle to end and the two of you to move forward and work on healing what was broken or wrong or difficult, the rift in the relationship. But some of you, it may, this is a general reading, some of you, it may represent an ending of the relationship itself. But there's definitely one coming to an end, and it needs to come to an end because there's, so much pressure, strain, anxiety, fear, worry, heaviness, and pain around it. Now, next to that, we have the Hanging Man and the Queen of Cups. And again, time being fluid, I feel like for some of you, this is energy that has been going on for the month of November too. So we have the Hanging Man and the Queen of Cups. The Hanging Man represents, it can be a card of self-sacrifice, of sacrificing one thing in the present for a larger thing or a more important thing, because it represents hanging back and perhaps feeling like you're in stasis and limbo. You're waiting because things are still playing out. This is a card in conflict, of stepping back from the conflict and letting things play out. Even if you want to go in, you want to force an outcome, rush an outcome. It's about standing back and understanding that divine timing and orchestration is at play here, and you need to just kind of hold in this pattern while you're waiting for things to play out, which can represent a certain amount of self-sacrifice towards something greater. And it could be that you're waiting on somebody else, or somebody else is waiting on you for this cycle to end one way or another as well. The Hanging Man is clarified by the Queen of Cups. Now, the Queen of Cups is Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy, Sun, Moon, or Rising. This could be another person or another aspect of the person you might be waiting on, or might be waiting on you. On an energetic level, this could be you keeping somebody else waiting with the Hanging Man, or somebody else keeping you waiting with the Hanging Man. But on an energetic level, it represents trusting your feelings and your intuition, because the Queen of Cups, touching base with your feelings and your intuitions, and trusting in that. Not the surface feelings, which can be all over the place, but our real gut instincts, our real intuitive and spiritual sense. Because that's what the Queen of Cups does. When she comes up in an energetic way, meaning not referring to another person, it's always about getting in touch with your feelings, because kings and queens represent individuals who have reached self-mastery and self-control over the character traits inherent to their suit. Cups is water energy. It's about emotions, feelings, and relationships. So she's kind of at the top of her game that way. She may still have a tendency to get too deep in her emotions, but she's in touch and in tune with her emotions. And it's about kind of taking a step back, I think, for some of you, and trusting in your instincts and your intuition and your emotions about this. Your true intuitive feelings, not the surface ones, which are can vary, happy, sad, especially if you're in this kind of waiting or holding pattern for the time being. I feel like some of you need to take a step back, particularly around the first half of the month, maybe around the second week or so, because things are still playing out, and you need to trust in divine timing and orchestration, and trust in that intuitive ability as well for some of you. Now next to that we have the Page of Wands and Death. And then we have the Hierophant and the Knight of Cups. And I say this because I feel like for some of you, and this is a very specific, this is for, I think, a relationship issue for some people. This is very specific. I feel like the Page of Wands is somebody, pages are always like that young, impulsive energy, just starting out fresh, maybe with a clean slate, kind of the slate being wiped clean, and momentum is what kind of gets you going and down the road. And paired with death or transformation, you know, we have another ending here, the ending of a cycle, a major ending, because usually death comes up when something has been around for a time and needs to, the ground needs to be completely cleared out so that you can plant seeds to manifest something new. You know, because birth follows death, beginnings follow endings. That's the energetic cycle of life. That's how it goes. I feel like for some of you, I feel like for a lot of you, there is a sense of this cycle coming to an end finally, and going for, and kind of the slate being wiped clean and whatever was wrong in the situation or relationship. And when I say the slate wiped clean, I don't mean that we can't go back and rewrite history and we can't forget, but it means the two of you honestly saying, okay, if we're going to move beyond this, we need to make an agreement to leave it behind us and move forward into a fresh new future, and not be stuck in it and referring and continuing to blame because of past stuff. And I feel like a lot of you actually do that. You end up deciding to do that rather quickly, and it's just kind of a beautiful new energy moving forward into the end of the month. For some of you, and I feel like this is a very small portion of you, but I feel like either you or the other person makes a decision very quickly around the middle of the month or so to end this relationship. Like they're saying, I'm done. You know, we need to start over separately in a whole different way. And there's this kind of rush to do this. I don't feel like it's for the majority of you, but I feel like it's for a very small group of you, maybe just a few people who may be watching. But then the thing is at or towards the end of the month, right after that, we have this energy of the Hierophant and the Knight of Cups. Convention, tradition, stability, walking the prescribed path, you know, like marriage, engagement, you know, the way that most people do sorts of things, which is convention, tradition, higher education and learning, large corporations, institutions. It's convention. It's doing what most people do on the conventional path, and it's clarified by the Knight of Cups. Knights representing offers and opportunities coming in and the speed at which situations move. This is an offer of love, of emotional support and encouragement. It could be, you know, marriage, engagement, I love you, go out with me. You know, I feel like these last four cards are really kind of attached, because I feel like for those of you who just make the decision to move forward together and put this thing in the past and let it stay there, that you're moving forward into this beautiful, stable, you know, future. You may be getting engaged, moving in together, getting married, you know, whatever that conventional path is for you. But it looks like it follows convention, and it's truly beautiful. Some of you may be getting engaged around Christmas, New Year's time. For others of you, that small portion that I feel like either you or the other person just says, you know, I'm done with this, I'm ending this, I feel like they almost immediately come back, do an about face, and come back in and say, I don't know what I was thinking. I was, you know, out of my head. I don't know. I just wanted this to end because it was just so heavy. But I don't really want this to end. And here's what I'm offering, and here's what I'm promising: tradition and stability and convention and all of that. So I feel like it's kind of split there. And how it plays out for that small portion of you is kind of up to you. You have to kind of take all, you know, whatever your personal situation is into, you know, under consideration to know whether you would want to take this person back after they did that. You know, it depends on whether it's a second chance or a 20-second chance. You know, I'm a big believer in second chances, but you can carry them a little too far. So it's kind of up to you in your individual situation. But I feel like the majority of you, this is just ending a cycle of something and moving forward in a really beautiful way, whether it's in a relationship, in love and romance, in friendship, or even in work and career as well. The overall energy, remember, is healing, is whether a cycle is ending and you're moving forward together with another person, or on the same path, or whether a cycle is ending and that means that this path, this situation, or this relationship is ending. You're definitely moving into a better place in your life. So overall, it's very good. I'm curious about this kind of waiting energy, this Hanging Man and this Queen of Cups. So I'm going to see if we can get a sense of what that's about. The Ten of Pentacles, tens representing completion. The Ten of Pentacles, earth energy. So it used to be called the inheritance card, which means a present sense of abundance that comes from all the time and effort and patience that went into it. So this could be, this would be like a successful retirement, or paying off the last payment on your home, or because there's a strong attachment to home and family here, or a long-term marriage or relationship, like celebrating your 25th wedding anniversary or whatever. So this whole waiting thing, this whole uncertainty and trying to let things play out, this energy of the Hanging Man and the Queen of Cups, is about whether or not something is going to have the potential and the opportunity to come to be built up to this, to come to this fruition that represents stability and security and a sense of solidity. So I'm just going to pull cards to see how just a couple more cards to see how this plays out. For the majority of you, the highest potential. Just to not really, I'm not taking a look too much at January, although for some of you this is going to be playing out into January. But just moving forward a little bit. Beautiful. We have the Ten of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune in the upright. So it's definitely about the happiness, stability, and harmony of your home, of your family, of your relationship as well. And I feel like it's going to turn out beautifully anyway, Leo, regardless of whether you continue on with something or someone together or on a different path. I feel like the majority of you, it's continuing on together, but that's not going to hold true for everybody watching. I mean, how could it in a general reading? But I feel like that's the case for the majority of you. And the others of you, I feel like you're going to have what you want anyway, but it may be with a different person, or, down the path a little bit longer. But again, I feel like that's a smaller portion of you. But it's definitely healing, because this burden and this pain and this struggle needed to come to an end so that you can have peace and health and joy in your life. And if it's relationship and this wasn't it for you, it means that that other one is still out there. So Leo, that pretty much wraps up your reading for December 2018. I hope you found it helpful. Again, if any of you are interested in a more personal one-on-one reading with me, please feel free to email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I'd be most happy to work with you and set up a reading for you as quickly as we can. I do love and romance, of course, reconciliation potential, relationship compatibility charting, career work and finance, as well as investment readings. And I do 6 and 12-month overviews, which take a look at what's coming in all the main areas of your life over a 6 or 12-month period, depending on how far ahead you want to look. And they're particularly popular this time of the year, even though you can do them any time of the year, because a lot of people want to take a look ahead as we're coming to the end of one year and the beginning of a new one. And also gift readings. People like to purchase the gift of a personal reading for friends, family, and loved ones during the holiday season as well. So something else to consider. So Leo, I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the mid-month readings. And until then, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care. Bye-bye.